Something really has to be done about user interface design. It has gone insane. Here's a great example of it. I'm using Hotmail, or Outlook as it's now called, online on the website, the website version. And when I open up a picture, it used to just open up a picture, a picture that was an attachment. Now, when you open it up, it's got this weird viewer thing that emerges, and then to let you know there's a little thing at the bottom, it goes da-da-da and moves, just to irritate you, as if you are so stupid that you couldn't see it. It insults the intelligence of the user. It is patronizing in the extreme. And these moronic developers are sitting there going, oh, how wonderful! Yes, how wonderful! We've designed this wonderful thing. It's so idiot-proof. Idiot-proof. You're insulting the user. You're treating every single human being on the planet as though they are complete morons. I don't need your silly little viewer. I just want to see the pictures as I've just been doing for more than 20 years. No, you've decided it all needs to be changed. It all needs to be improved. It all needs to be beautified. It all needs to be especially this or especially that. It doesn't. And this is the problem. The web user interface design has become a pure exercise in indulgence for the designer, it is not done for the user. These idiots are sitting there tinkering and playing with things, and you're sitting there trying to use the tool, and these morons are just faffing around with it endlessly. This will be great. No, it won't. Leave it alone, please. No, this will be great. And you can't stop these idiots faffing around with stuff that was fine 20 years ago. They won't stop. How do you stop these people? What, you write an email, there's no email address to email these guys. There is a complete and utter gap between the average user and this cloud of fantasy, these people who exist in a fantasy world of their own creation, imagining that everyone loves what they're creating. Nobody loves it. It's nonsense. And they just won't stop. It's not helpful. It is insulting. It's like they're sitting there saying, we know what you want better than you do, and that's that. You can't treat people like that. You can't treat anyone like that. You wouldn't treat a stranger like that. And certainly not in the realm of business where you're providing a service to people. These people are out of control. They're out of their minds and out of control. How do we stop them? How do we stop the mass of these web designing psychos ruining things that have been perfectly fine for 20 years? Every week, more and more and more and more and more changes. The same is, I mean, you can extend this definitely to the main system you have, the operating system on a computer. Every 5 seconds, not only is it a security update, no, it's a functionality update. It's all going to change. We're just going to change how it works because we feel that it should. Leave the thing alone. If you feel that something someone else has got as a tool doesn't work the way you feel they should have it, that's not your business. It's the person who owns the tool who tells you if there's a problem. Don't go telling the world what you think they should do. You are merely and only the supplier of a tool. Don't change it. Don't mess with it. These rules are absolutely hardwired into every single industry, apart, apparently, from the user interface industry. Because these guys are just riding off like cowboys into the sunset, trampling the entire world, and they're unaware, apparently, of the damage they're doing. It is crazy. I can't move my mouse cursor around the screen without all sorts of rubbish occurring that I had no intention of looking at and no desire to look at. Yet these morons are they've been given absolute free rein. Their managers just say, yeah, do what you think is right. And then they just carry on. And they present the manager with this great nonsense that no one ever needed. And the manager goes, yeah, okay, we'll prove that. And then the world gets to suffer this nonsense. I think this is eventually going to end up, right, with some form of mass protest. Right? The other day there was a mass protest in London regarding immigration. I firmly believe that to get this message into the heads of the morons who are working in user interface design and software development, to get the message into their heads is going to rely upon people literally taking to the streets to show these morons what they're doing, because they're just deaf. They're not listening. They're in their own little fantasy world, in little offices somewhere, going, yes, I'm the best. Oh, look at all this wonderful stuff I'm producing. And everyone's going, yes, in the office. Oh, how wonderful. And they're just producing garbage that no one wants and no one needs. There's a complete and utter divorce between them and the people they serve. It's the same as when a government stops listening to their citizens. The citizens are eventually going to take the government to one side and have a very stern word with it. You have to understand that the position of a service provider is subservient to the user. The user is the boss. These guys are pretending they're the boss of the user, and that's why this problem's occurred. This is exactly why in every other industry on the planet you have the principle whereby the customer is always right. Some people get irked by that. Say, "Oh, what do you mean the customer's?" The customer is always right because you exist as a service provider to serve them. There's no other purpose for the existence of a business in that regard than to serve the customer. It's not, your business doesn't exist for you to push your agenda on the customer. If you try to do that, the customer will just move elsewhere. Customers are like fish. They'll just say, no, I don't like that bait, and they'll go somewhere else. I don't like that bait. There's something wrong with it, and they'll go somewhere else. Now the problem we have seemingly is they have a captive market. And the problem is, if you have a captive market, then the customer suffers because these morons get a big head and they say, "Ha ha, we can do what we want now," and then everyone suffers, and eventually that tyranny has to be broken, and that's what's going to happen. People will take to the streets eventually to break that tyranny, and we're suffering it right now. The internet has been destroyed in the same way as an out of control government can destroy a country, because they just go off on their own tangent and they forget that they're serving the people of that nation. They're not serving their own little creepy interests. They're serving the people of that nation, and a service industry company like a user interface production business, or a business which has that element involved, they are serving the interests only of the customer. So these guys are going to get a rude awakening, and they'll all be sitting there going, "Oh, what did we do wrong?" Well, what you didn't do is listen. This is really well illustrated in a book called How to Win Friends and Influence People. Seek first to understand before seeking to be understood. That principle of communication is absolutely brilliant. These guys are forgetting it. They are implying that what they want is more important than what the customer wants. Thus, chaos. So, I definitely predict this is going to, because you can't be heard on the internet You speak if you can say what you want on a forum. No one listens. A business in the past, I reckon businesses used to read the forums and go, okay, we don't really need to do anything. And now, I bet you they don't even pay attention to the forums. I bet you they used to have departments which would read the forums when forums. Now they literally don't even have that department anymore. They're like, we could do what we want. So you could say what you want on the. You can type. You can write. A billion people could write the same complaint, and the company would sit there with its arms folded. This is exactly what's happening with Microsoft. Everyone hates Microsoft because of their disgusting behavior. They are invasive, intrusive. They ruin. They invade a person's privacy completely. They hijack the person's computer. They ruin the settings. It's a joke. And they sit there going, "We'll do what we want. Thank you very much." The only solution is it has to go to the wall. It has to go to an extreme sometimes to get morons to listen, and then eventually they go, "Oh, okay." And it takes sometimes gargantuan expression for these for these morons to actually get the message. And I predict that this will happen. Definitely.